Hi everybody, welcome to Cooking with M-Rob and Mini-Me. We're here today to show you my favorite easy breakfast recipe for eggs. Okay, we're here to make my favorite easy recipe for an omelet. And you're just going to need some eggs. My original recipe is 2 eggs, 1/3 cup of pico, and I have 1/16 a brick of cheese. A lot of times I use shredded cheese, but I'm kind of a math teacher, so we're going to use fractions. And my favorite eggs to use would be brown eggs. We have an assistant she's trying to point out here. And here's the thing though, is I'm a little extra hungry. So instead of doing my normal one whole recipe, I would like 1.5 times that recipe because I'm extra hungry. So instead of 2 brown eggs, what's 1.5 times that amount? So as you can see, my mini-me assistant has half the eggs in her hand. So if I want 1 whole of what I already have plus another half, I'm going to need 1 more egg. You have to pause the video when the eggs roll away on you. So 1.5 of the original amount would be 3. So if you just take 2 and multiply by 1.5 in a calculator, we get 3. But if we were going to go and do distributive property, because like we just did when my mini-me was holding the egg, half of 2 is 1, plus the 1 we had before, which was 2, totals 3. So I have here about 1/3 cup of pico. I need all of that plus half more. I want to do 1.5 times my normal amount. So what would half of 1/3 be? So my original 1/3 cup of pico plus half of that amount. Half of 1/3 would be 1 times 1 over 2 times 3, which would be 1/6. Can't add fractions that have unlike denominators, so they can both have the lowest common denominator, 6. The 2 over 2 is the special 1 that will help me make this equivalent. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. Good job filming assistant. Speaking is not my thing. And 2/6 plus 1/6 would make 3/6, which reduces to an easy half. So I 1/3 cup of pico times 1.5 will now be 1/2 cup of pico. So assistant, if you could please scoop some pico into the cup so that we have a half.
This smells good. I think I'll have a couple of eggs. I'll try it.
Now I'm just going to need to get 1/16 of the brick of cheese. So I can get that easily by cutting it in half. Okay, so we're just slicing this in half. Then we're going to slice the half in half. Half of a half would be 1/4. And cheese is easy to cut. You should be able to just push right through it. I don't want that much cheese, so let's do the half of the, what are we on? Half of a quarter.
Half of the other half, half of the half.
Half of the half of the half, which would be 1/8. And then I took a gander at that, and as much as I love cheese, that's still too much. So we're going to need to do, time out for 1 second, hon.
Yeah, they're not completely straight.
You're going to cut yourself, so let's do the half the other way.
Like this?
So, yeah, like that. So that would be, what are we on now? That's our 1/16, right?
Yep.
Let's go ahead and cut that in half.
Are you rolling?
I am rolling. So keep these out. So this is a 1/16, and this is a 1/16. And I want 1 of the normal ones plus half of the other one. So go ahead and give me 1.5. And half of a 1/16 would be 1/32. So this is the amount of cheese we need for our new one. Let me just update my recipe. So if you check out the math, if you take a 1/16 of a brick of cheese and half of that, because I'm doing 1.5 times the normal amount because it's my extra hungry recipe, it's 3 30 seconds of a brick of cheese. Now, nobody sits there and says they're going to use 3 30 seconds, but you could see how easy it is to find halves of halves by cutting bricks of cheese, and most of the time I use shredded stuff, but I'm sure you get the idea. So it's time to cook. If we could not play with our bricks of cheese like Legos, that would be nice. So brown eggs are a little bit harder to crack than the white eggs are. They tend to shatter more. Ooh, but my assistant has done it flawlessly. So we're just going to crack these 3 eggs. Ooh, another one flawlessly. Of course, if you get a little piece of egg in there, you can just, dig it out. Just make sure you always wash your hands before you cook. We should be used to washing our hands right now with COVID anyway. Now, when you put that cheese in there, you're probably going to want to cut that up a little bit more. This brief commercial interruption that is brought to you by Scale Factor. Scale Factor is the number you multiply by, and it can be found by taking the new number and dividing it by the old number. It does not matter which new number and which old number you use. If it is proportional, the scale factor will always be the same. And if you were in chapter 1, I'd be calling it the constant of proportionality, which is 1.5. And now back to our original programming. Pour in the amount of pico. We're going to need a spatula to break those eggs up because I like it scrambled. And with the pico, it's very hard to overcook your eggs. They will become very fluffy. Okay, we are rolling again. So we're just going to scramble up this yolk, mix it all up. I often put this all the way on high, and you're thinking, oh, you're going to burn your eggs. But like I said, with the pico, it kind of keeps it from burning. And the higher you cook it, the faster it cooks, because I don't know about you, but I don't take a lot of time in the morning before going to work. So I like to cook my eggs fast as I can. Thank you very much, assistant.
Next time, I just want to give a shout out to Sweetness for gifting me this lovely Santa suit apron.